Go live now. Hey y'all.
Later.
How's
Hey guys.
everybody? How y'all doing? I didn't shave today, so I'm wearing a hat. I,
So that's
probably,
supposed to help.
I can probably get away. You really can't see it.
It doesn't look bad.
Yeah, but if I put my head down and start talking, you'll see like the circle in my head. Oh boy.
Sporting that hat after yesterday.
I'm lazy. Um, hey y'all, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the first Maximize Monday of the year. Wow.
Yeah.
That's right. We are off last Monday because it was New Year's Day.
Hmm.
And we are in our second week, beginning our second week of January, and we're so glad that you all have joined us today. Can you hold on real quick? Can you just talk to them? I'll be right back. Y'all, hold on.
Okay.
Yes,
So as,
it'll take less than 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
all right, we're going to time you on that. But as Pastor Nick was saying, yes, we are in our second week of January. So guys, do me a favor and let me know what you've been enjoying and keep it positive on the year so far. I was telling someone the other day that it already feels like it's been 2 months, but it's only 2 weeks. But I'm excited for what we have in store for this new year. Of course, if you are tuning in for the first time, please drop a VIP in the comments so that we can welcome you and show you some love. And as always, we love to see where people are tuning in from. So let's rep your city. You can post that in the comments as well as we get ready for our first Maximize Monday of the year. We are in the sermon series Break My Heart for What Breaks Yours. And that's all about being compassionate. What can we do to allow God to break our hearts for what breaks his? So I know for me, I've been trying to be, let's switch this. That's going to drive me crazy. There we
Why?
go.
Why do you have to be on that side?
It just, it's just different. It's
Okay.
just
All right.
different.
All right.
But with keeping this in mind, I've been trying to be really attentive to what can I do different um, in terms of how I'm treating people, or even just taking the time to have conversation. Right, it can be as simple as that, to really extend that heart of God that I have, because people are really feeling it. Life ain't easy, and I always want to make sure that I am aware of opportunities to be a blessing to someone. So that's just one way that I'm trying to apply this sermon series to my life. And I'd love to hear what other people are doing too.
It's called being nice.
I
common,
am.
common courtesy. I hate to be so pragmatic, but it's being
No,
nice.
it's
It's
true.
common
Yeah.
courtesy. It's care.
Hmm.
Um, I'm sure Bishop's going to talk about it in the sermon series that Jesus used a Samaritan to teach the Jewish people. These people that you disdain, they actually have more character than you,
Yeah.
because the Jews did not like the Samaritans. And Jesus purposely uses a Samaritan to show them you think you're righteous because of your culture, your heritage. But the real righteous one is the person that you can't stand. I think Bishop talked about prejudice and racism yesterday. He did. And yesterday, this person that you think is unrighteous, you can't stand, actually is showing more righteousness than y'all,
Yep.
which, which tells us something. Now, this is out of the text. This is just talking in general.
Hmm.
Uh, Sometimes unbelievers can be nicer than believers, more cordial, more caring. It's and sometimes God uses those people to teach us.
Hmm.
Have we ever been the priest of the Levite and we saw a Samaritan, an unbeliever, do better than us? But I think a part of that, Maya, is that in American culture, especially it's like in some Christian circles, we made everything about the individual.
Hmm.
My healing, my breakthrough, my deliverance, my promotion, not we, not us, not our.
Yeah.
Like we use God to get what we want rather than the basis of God being love. We have love, and that love is expressed in everything that we do. And that includes how we treat people.
Hmm.
Because we think we can disconnect our treatment for people from our treatment from God, and you cannot do that.
Hmm.
We think I can love God, worship Him, praise Him, and then treat somebody else with an attitude and think that God's pleased with that. And he's absolutely not.
Yeah.
Because how we treat people is how we treat him.
Yep.
And if we start thinking like that, we'll be careful how we treat people.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense. I mean, the whole idea is that Christ lives in us. So, like, if we are going to be, treating people any old kind of way, that's how you're treating Christ, like you said. And I think we really need to be mindful of how we're doing that a little bit more.
Yeah. Because he identifies with the Gospels show us that Jesus identifies with the least of these, those who are struggling, the sick, the poor, the marginalized. In Matthew 25, he says, "You've done it unto them, you've done it unto me. If you didn't do it for them, you didn't do it for me."
Mm-hmm.
And we think we can overlook them and think God does not see that. But when you start seeing Christ in people, that the image of God is in everybody, even if you don't like the person, you still treat them with some form of respect.
Right.
Because we're all made in the image and likeness of God, whether you like the person or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I like this message, and he took his time yesterday, and it wasn't a shouting message, and it didn't need to be.
Yeah.
But if there's one thing I know about saints, I can't speak for both sides, but one thing I know about some, not all, Black Christians is we love being able to tell people off and tell it like it is. And I'm not saying we're the only culture that has that issue. I'm just speaking for what I know for 100% certainty. That sometimes we as people, we gloat in our inability to interact with people.
Mm-hmm.
That was a nice way of saying what I really wanted to say.
Mm-hmm.
And God is paying attention. So for this year, we should be very outward focused. Because when you're outward focused, God starts taking care of you. When you're generous towards others, God starts bringing that generosity back to you. But it starts with me first, going out of my way, inconveniencing myself at times, and taking care of other people. Like if you know a family that struggle with groceries, it makes no sense to not. It just something should click and you say, let me help them with some groceries.
Mm-hmm.
Family, somebody single parent struggling or buying coats for the kids in the wintertime. We can go somewhere, spend $25 and pick up a coat for the child. It starts with people we know, and it starts kind of working our way out.
Yeah.
But I think we, from the message yesterday, and I know this ain't the recap, but it can be somewhat of a recap. Sorry, Maya and Kevin. It really speaks to how a moment of inconvenience to help somebody else first do for what it can do for the person. That's number one. Well, glorifying God, number one, and then what it can do for the person, but also being able to help that individual. And I remember somebody told me years ago, and I'll let you talk, do your thing. Somebody told me years ago, and I'll never forget it. Sometimes your reward is God using you to help change somebody's life.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reward. The reward is seeing that what you did impacted that life. We think the reward is just tangible and, money. And those things do come. I'm not saying those things don't happen. Mm-hmm. But if I'm serving somebody and I'm watching the fruit of that service and that life change, that's the real fruit.
Yeah.
That's the real thing.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think I believe that when you do good things come back around. Mm-hmm. Great. But like you said, there is nothing like that feeling of being able to see how you're making an impact or how you're changing someone's life. And so if you think about it in that way of treating people as you would like to be treated, I think that some of our holdups, for lack of better words, would be more easy to overcome. I've heard it before. Well, I have to struggle, so do they.
Yeah.
That's not what you would want someone to say to you about what you're going through. So being able to show that compassion from a place of feeling and understanding without judgment, what this person might be going through, when you're able to do that, it really is a fulfilling feeling, I think.
Yeah. And the fact that you struggled should be the cue that I don't want nobody else to struggle like I did. That should, to me, that's my thought.
Yeah.
Struggle does create and teach help with character, but at the same time, there are other ways that character is built too.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had like, say for instance, I had a real like I know I've said it to you a couple of times, like when Maya started working on staff, I was kind of throw like little tidbits out there to her. I don't know if she's doing it, but I was kind of throwing like here's some roads here's some lines that you got to be careful of, some roadblocks, some pitfalls.
Mm-hmm.
And just because I had some struggles, it doesn't mean, hey, let me just leave her by herself.
Right. Drowning in the deep end.
Right. There was some wisdom tidbits along the way. But then there were times where I knew I didn't need to help her, because if she learned to settle down some, I'm not trying to put you on frustration. Not that you were panicked, not settling down, not like you were panicky, but if you would come to an awareness, like you said, I'm sinking, but I can actually swim.
Mm-hmm.
So good leaders will watch a person that can swim, sit there and kind of wade and then slow down and figure out, I can do this.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have some things people have to experience, but know that I'm still here to support you.
Exactly. I'm watching you. I'm here. If you get too deep, I'll pick you up and start you over again. But I couldn't say that the rough parts of, I was the youngest person on staff for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're the youngest. And so it's like, I knew what being the youngest felt like. Mm-hmm. So why am I going to sit there and say, oh, well, I had to deal with it. Let her go through it herself. That's foolish. No, let me help you navigate the mistake I've made.
Mm-hmm.
So you won't make the same mistakes. There's an easier way to learn this, but there's a line between, knowing when to keep your hands off and knowing when to put your hands on. Mm-hmm. And maturity comes that line. But either way, I think sometimes our bitterness plays into our inability to help people. Because like you said, you're right. Nobody helped me, so I'm not going to help nobody else. I figured it out. I made a way. Well, first of all, that's not true. Everybody has some help somewhere. That's number one. Number two, again, if you went through hell, why would you want somebody to go through the same type of hell? Like, it just help them out. I don't know. Never mind. It's just.
I think sometimes that makes people feel good.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like, I don't know, it's vengeful. Like that's your way of getting back to the system, for lack of better words.
Yeah. I'm gonna show you. It's like, relax. There's a difference between working from a place of love and care and a place of bitterness, compared to a place of bitterness, resentment, and those things. Some people are highly successful, but are highly bitter, angry, frustrated, vengeful, prideful, arrogant. There's a wealthy person that just did something small and stupid to somebody, and it's like, dude, you are a billionaire. Why the heck are you doing this small thing to somebody? Yeah. But power is intoxicating, and if you don't know how to manage it well, you abuse it. Mm-hmm. People, and that's another thing too. We want God to do things in our lives, but will we use those things to help people, or just do it all for ourselves and end up hurting them? Mm-hmm. Can God trust us with power? Because power involves relationships with people, and can God trust us with those relationships?
Yeah.
And maybe he can't give us certain things because he can't, based off how we're acting now. If we're acting, I was talking to somebody the week. If they're acting crazy without a title, imagine giving the person a title. It's going to make them worse. Mm-hmm. If you're acting nuts when you're broke, what's going to happen when you get money? If
yeah,
those things don't change you. They just reveal more of who you already are.
Absolutely. There's a quote by a famous philosopher. It's Monday. You guys know what I'm trying to say.
Philosopher.
Anyway, there's a quote that says, "With great power comes great responsibility." Mm-hmm. Right? And like you said, Pastor Nick, that responsibility is how can we handle having to negotiate people? Sometimes, most times, we need to think before we act. you
Mhm.
know, and humble ourselves and being able to, you know, not be quick to things, I think is a part of that responsibility too.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I guess in this context, being compassionate is not being able to, or being able to kind of settle yourself first before you cut someone.
Mhm. Yeah.
I feel is more innate to people.
Yeah. But you know, I've learned the most judgmental people are usually the ones that are most guilty.
Mm-hmm.
The most judgmental ones are usually the ones that are the most guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Um, most people aren't paying attention to the news. The Harvard president that just resigned, the black lady,
Mm-hmm.
over plagiarism. When you look into it, it's just she forgot you knew she was quoting somebody, but she didn't put the quotations there,
Yeah.
and she referred to who was that?
You updated your laptop recently?
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
weird you're doing that with your
oh.
hands.
So 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 one of the people that was leading the charge to get her removed, they end up finding out his wife did the same thing, and now he's calling for compassion when people make mistakes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, y'all, I think it's dangerous. And this is one of the things that gets me about online stuff and conspiracy theories. People believe in the worst of everything. Why do we want to believe the worst about everybody?
Mm-hmm.
The worst, it's like, what does that say about us? If we lead our lives by gossip, salacious accusations, believe it with no proof, no evidence, and just, it shows a misery inside of us
Mm-hmm.
that makes us lean towards um, using no logic at all. And the ones who are the most guilty of stuff are the ones that do the most accusations.
Yeah.
Because to me, if you're always talking about it, you're guilty of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the ones that are always talking about it, yeah, you're guilty. That's
Mm-hmm.
you. You're
Mm-hmm.
projecting.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say this, and we'll move on a little bit. This wasn't supposed to be the topic, but it just ended up
Yeah.
becoming. Is I learned something last year, like I'm acting like it was so long ago, in December, that the scripture "Judge not, lest ye be judged." We often read that more about the other person and not judging the person, which is true, but also our interactions with people. The real lesson is, what does that teach us about us?
Mm-hmm.
That's the real lesson. What does my interaction with so and so tell me about me? How did I react to this? Was it right? Was it wrong? Are there areas for me to grow emotionally, mentally, psychologically? Because we're always looking at interaction with a person to learn about that person.
Mm-hmm.
That's great to learn about the person, but really, those interactions teach us about us.
Yeah.
But if we don't self-reflect, we will never grow, because we're only looking at our interactions to teach us about people,
Mm-hmm.
rather than, what did I learn about me in that? I still got a little temper, still got a little unforgiveness. I'm still a little envious. I'm still a little whatever. I'm still a little, um, you know, oblivious to certain things. Uh, and that's how you start to grow, because human interactions teach us more about us than it does about the other person.
Right.
And I don't know how we got here, but I think if we start remembering that, then we can start growing better, which makes our interactions with people better.
Mm-hmm.
I can't treat Maya the way I treat somebody else, because Maya is different than the other person, in the sense of I show her love and care in the way that she needs it versus somebody else needs it.
Mm-hmm.
If I treat that's the way. You can't talk to everybody the same. Some people, you need a little more direct. Some people get more flowery. It all depends on who you're talking to. But if we lead with love and lead with care, we'll never go wrong, and lead with grace. And that doesn't mean you don't have to say what you got to say, but I say it with love, say it with grace, say it with care.
Right.
There you go. All right.
Yeah. So with all that, our week 2 growth guides are available on our website, as well as the link was posted on social media. So you can go take a look at that and do some reflection on your own throughout this week, or connect with someone else and go through it together. And also links back to yesterday's message. So hope you guys enjoy it, because it's really good.
Make sure you have Cynthia put it on the announcements for Wednesday, so Bishop can announce it.
Okay.
Yeah, they're good. You go check them out. They're like to-dos, just something you can go through
Mm-hmm.
over the sermon, review notes and review certain quotes and certain to do. So watch this. We not just are hearers of the word, we're doers of the word also.
Absolutely.
So they're up right now on all of our platforms. So go and check them out, y'all. It's really good. This is a good idea, Mai. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You're almost getting saved. It's
Almost. Not there yet.
not there.
Almost.
Almost. You just start reading your Bible during the pandemic. I don't know what else.
Well, at least that was 4 years ago. That's something.
Yeah, but what's gonna make you pray now? What I don't know. Maybe your hip surgery might help you pray more.
So
But anyway,
now what? Now what we talk about?
I don't know. It's 12:20, 12:21. But I mean, I in an age where nuance and logic seem to be lost, it's like we need to come back to our senses, y'all, and think logically, think intelligently, and stop believing everything you hear just because it's negative. It just, like, come on, y'all. Lies are more entertaining than truth. That's why they're easier to believe. So I'd rather believe an accusation, rather believe so-and-so, rather believe this. That's got to be true because so-and-so said it. And this person lied. You weren't even there. So how do you know what's true or not? You weren't privy to the conversation. You weren't around there. I just believe it. Ooh.
And that's exactly the problem, because everyone has their own truth to what happened. And like you said, those things carry, and they're not grounded in what actually went on or didn't go on.
Yeah. And all memory is reconstructed.
You
think about it. A portion of our memory is 100% accurate. The other portion is how we saw it. Those are the difference. Part of it's accurate. A big part of it is how we saw it.
Yep. And we're seeing things through our own filters.
How we saw it is not necessarily based off the accuracy of what happened. So at times we can learn to question even our own memory to make sure, is that what really happened, or is that just how I saw it? Because it could be possible that's just how I saw it. I didn't actually see that. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, that was good.
That's good. So tonight we have Embrace class at 7 in person and online. We also have Tuesday, Diamonds Women's Ministry, Tuesday night. Bishop's going to be teaching, so special guest. We talked about him in there doing some classes. He's going to be mixed in during the course of the year. He is doing tomorrow night at 7 or 7:30. At
7. But also there is childcare available. And then Chef will be selling some food there as well prior to the start time of that session. So definitely make sure to go on to our website. You can look at the full menu and, eat some good food before you get into some good work.
Yep. So that's tomorrow at 7. Bible study at 12 noon as well as 7 p.m. Noonday, we're talking about fasting and temptation. Been going pretty good. And then Wednesday night, Bishop is up again talking about business, finances, success. And Thursday, we don't have none, right?
Thursday, Sound Mind panel at 7 p.m.
Sound Mind panel is Thursday.
Yeah.
The second week of the month. Yes. So Sound Mind panel this Thursday. And you talk about mental health, those other things. Friday, we have nothing, I believe. And then, of course, Saturday on point at 9 o'clock. Bishop and myself. And of course, we have Sunday service. If you missed yesterday's service, communion or morning service, go back on the website, check them out. Also, download the sermon guides, follow through them, mark them up, write on them, learn something, and watch your life radically change and turn around. Bishop's birthday is this month on the 25th.
Yeah.
So we have to start announcing that this Sunday. If you can put announcements, he'll be 72. So we're asking for everyone to do at least $72 on the, we're going to do it on the 21st and the 28th. 21st and the 28th. His birthday's on a Thursday this year. 21st, 28th. At least $72. If you can do more, do more. If you can't do the 72, do the best you can. We're asking for everybody for $1 per year as we look to bless them. And invite somebody to church this month.
Absolutely.
We're believing God for salvation, healing, deliverance, all that good stuff.
And as we ask, Lord, break our hearts, what breaks his, being able to invite someone to church and to share that love of God is a wonderful example of how you can do that. So like Pastor Nick said, we do encourage that you invite someone, either someone you know or you don't know, and let them know what's happening at Bethany so that they can be blessed as well.
Yep. All right, y'all. We didn't. This wasn't the topic. I had something in mind, and then this kind of veered off. It's okay. No, it's fine.
That's what happens in that 2 minutes that you left.
See, we'll be back next Monday for another Maximize Monday. The Lord be with you all. Amen. See you. Bye.
Bye.